Hello, Algebra 1B students. This is your point slope to slope intercept form. This is not due until the 18th, Friday, but I'm putting it out today because I see that some people are wanting to get started on it and work on it. So here's some help for you. This formula is that formula that we've been using for a point slope form. What I've done with it is I've moved my y sub 1 over to this side of the equation. In other words, I added, see this is subtracting y sub 1, so I added y sub 1 to both sides of the equation. So essentially I did this, plus y sub 1 plus y sub 1, to both sides of the equation. These canceled out, and I'm left with y equals m, and then I have my x minus x sub 1, and then I have a plus y1 over here. This just, makes it a little bit easier, reduces the amount of steps. It's a little trick when you are going to take some points and putting it into slope-intercept form. Taking a look at number 1. We're to write the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line that passes through a couple of points. So we have these 2 points that are given to us, all right? So here's my x1, here's my y1, here's my x2, here's my y2. I plug those into my slope formula in order to figure out what the slope is. So my y2 minus my y1, 0 minus a negative 5, minusing a negative becomes positive, okay? Then I have 0 minus a negative 4, so 0 plus 4. So I just have 5 over 4. That's my slope. I'm going to use this formula now and plug in my x1 and my y1, my x1 and my y1. You could pick these two also. You'll get the same answer in the end. But, I already have these labeled x1, y1, so I went and did it. And so here's my x1, here's my y1. Now subtracting a negative becomes a positive. Adding a negative becomes a negative. So remember that. I work this out and I use the distributive property for my 5/4. 5/4 of 4 becomes 5. So I have 5 minus 5 back here. That's just 0. So my equation is in slope-intercept form, y equals 5/4 x. And that's my final answer right there. For number 3, I label my x1, y1, x2, y2. I use the slope formula, and you're going to want to pause this because I know I'm going kind of fast. And I take my y2 minus my y1, minusing a negative becomes positive. My x2 minus my x1, I get negative 2/5. I plug that into the slope point slope form, that my changed point slope form. I have that plus y1 in the back there, as I explained at the beginning of the video. And then I just go ahead and I use the distributive property. I use the formula, or the slope that I figured out earlier, and then I just plug in my x1 and plug in my y1, and I end up getting this equation. Now, what does this mean? Well, what does all this mean? Well, remember in slope-intercept form, you can graph that. So if I were to graph this is my y-intercept, right? My y-intercept, and where it crosses the y-axis, and this is my slope, right? So let me show you on this just real quick what this all means. So if I were to graph that, I start with my y-intercept negative 4. So here I'm at negative 4 on my y-axis. It's 4 below the x-axis. Okay, this is negative 4. And then the slope is negative 2, so it goes down 2 over 5. So down 2 over 5, I put my point. And I go ahead and I, make my line. So that's the line. Now, what they're telling you in number 3 is that these points should be on that line. Well, let's take a look. 0, negative 4. Let's look at 0, and then negative 4. Yeah, that point was there. That's my y-intercept. And then the other point is negative, so this is 0, negative 4. And the other point was negative 5 and negative 5, negative 2. Yeah, that's on there too. That's on there also. So when I plug these numbers in, x value, y values to each of these x and y values, it's going to be on this line. I could pick other numbers. I can go back here, and another point that's going to be on that line, if I go up to and back 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is going to be this point right here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Negative 10, 0. Okay, negative 10, 0 is going to be on there too. So that's why we're doing this. That's why we're figuring this out. We're just giving a couple points and then figuring out what the line is. Okay, moving on to number 5. Number 5, this is a little bit easier. You don't have to figure out the slope because they're giving you everything you need, and they give you the slope right here is what I'm trying to say. And all you have to do is do what I did, that this is your y, your y1. You just add it to both sides. So what I did was I added, or I'm sorry, subtracting 3y from both sides. These cancel out. So I'm left with this. I do the distributive property. 2/3 times x is 2/3 x. 2/3 times 3, a negative 3 is a negative 2. I combine my like terms. Negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. And so this is my slope-intercept form, going from point-slope form to slope-intercept form. And then lastly, my last example, do the same thing. I'm adding 1 to both sides. I'm trying to get y by itself. I want it to be in slope-intercept form. So get rid of that. And then I use the distributive property. 4/5 times x is 4/5 x. 4/5 times negative 5 is negative 4. And then I just combine my like terms. Negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. And so I have, this is in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. That's what I'm looking for. So this is my y equals mx plus b. All right, this is negative 3 is my y-intercept, and 4/5 is my slope. And I could graph it if I wanted to. Good luck with the evens. Go ahead and try those. Make mistakes, learn from them, and you're making progress.